Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
Good night and good luck.
Hey folks, it's Friday, September 20th. I hope you all had a great week as the insanity of this campaign mounts higher and higher. We've got a lot of breaking news this week, but the elephant in the room is that I am not going to shut up. So folks, last weekend, another crazy person, not inspired by anything particularly political, but a crazy person, a guy with mental issues, just like the kid, the lost boy who took a shot at Trump in Pennsylvania, went down to South Florida with an old-fashioned pre-Korean War surplus rifle and laid down in a line of trees near a fence near Trump's golf course. Never saw Trump, never got near Trump, never got in within 400 yards of Trump. And luckily, the Secret Service found him. They arrested him after a police chase up I-95. It turns out the guy's crazy. And I don't mean like, ha, 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 he's a little crazy. No, he's crazy. So he wasn't really motivated by language or rhetoric or politics. He was motivated by a series of demons that live in his brain that are manifestations of his mental illness. But Trump's people, they're very crafty. They're very clever. They've seen this now as two opportunities. First, they see it as a fundraising opportunity, which there was a fundraising email out even before the guy was arrested. So that tells you what their first thought is. But the second thought was to tell everybody else to shut up. Tell the rest of America to shut up. To tell any critic of Trump to shut up. And by conflating any critique of Trump with a call for his assassination, they believe they have a way to guilt the normies, to make the media turn any criticism of Trump into an assassination threat, and to make the campaign something where Trump gets to set all the terms and the tone and the agenda. And their message is shut up. The message to everybody who's a critic of Trump is to shut up. You can't say Trump is a danger to society. You can't say Trump is a danger to democracy. You can't say Trump is an authoritarian or a fascist or that he will tear down the Constitution, even though these are facts. This logical fallacy, it's also, well, hell, it's not just a logical fallacy. It's a logical, a political, and a moral fallacy that critiques of Trump are calls for his death. Now, do I want Donald Trump to be off the political scene? Sure. Am I going to say everything in my heart and mind about Donald Trump? Yes. Are groups like the Lincoln Project and allied groups across the political spectrum going to wage a campaign saying who Trump is, what he believes in, and the consequences of us reelecting him? You bet we are. This is a strategy that is only believed by fools. This is a strategy that's only spread by Trump's most mendacious and low propagandists. The idea that one candidate gets to tell the other team to shut up is not American. It is not fundamentally a part of a dialogue in a country that we call an election that happens every 4 years for president. It doesn't work that way. What they want you to do, though, is to be bounded. So they can call Kamala Harris a communist, a Marxist, a socialist, a pedophile, a criminal, a whore. They can call her anything they want. And they say, oh, well, that doesn't inspire anybody because no one would possibly go after her. We just don't know what kind of threats have gone after her. But let me say something about this. The illusion that they live under on the right, that Donald Trump is somehow this moral figure destined by God to lead them from the wilderness, saving America with every moment. It's always been a lie. We call it out. You know why you call it out? You call it out because if you don't call it out, you're censoring yourself. If you don't call it out, you're giving in the first step of the authoritarian ratchet. And when it comes to speech, the authoritarian ratchet only moves one way. Less and less and less and less. The idea that saying that Trump is a sycophant of Vladimir Putin, or that Donald Trump loves dictators like Kim Jong-un, is a call for his assassination, is a lie. Those things are what we call in America facts. The idea that you call out Donald Trump for being a guy who has abused women, who ran with Jeffrey Epstein, who loves P. Diddy, who is now in prison, or is now in awaiting trial for sexual assault. The idea that the pussy grabber in chief, the idea that the guy who has Laura Loomer, the 9/11 truther on his planes, and is may or may not, according to her and God knows who else, be involved with her in some way. The guy that cheated on every wife he ever had. The guy that has 5 kids from 3 different baby mamas. The idea that calling those things out and speaking those truths about him is calling for his assassination. Anyone who buys that lie is out of their mind. They want us to unilaterally disarm. I absolutely refuse. You should absolutely refuse. Tim Snyder talks about this. Compliance in advance with authoritarianism is the surest guarantee for its success. When you give up ahead of time, when you disarm ahead of time, when you say, there are things I just won't say about Trump's record because he says it's inflammatory, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That is just wrong. That is just madness. You can't for a moment, if you're a serious person, think to yourself, well, I'd better not criticize Trump's record with the economy or COVID or the fact that everyone on his staff and his cabinet is saying they won't vote for him. The fact that Donald Trump has been rejected roundly by Democrats, independents, and Republicans is a call for his assassination is ludicrous. It is absurd. Now, look, the idea that the Republicans are pursuing here, there's a funny anecdote about this. Back in the Obama era, they tried to say Obama was a disciple of Saul Alinsky. And Saul Alinsky, as you guys know, radical thinker and activist, left-wing guy. And the Republicans hated so much the idea that somehow Obama was using the Alinsky whamma-jamma to manipulate the people that they adopted it for themselves. So they have a principle of Alinskyism, which Republicans have fully adopted, called freeze the target. That's why they're attacking any critic of Trump, myself, the Lincoln Project, everybody else who is out there on television or social media who is a critic of Trump. You want him to be assassinated. You want him to be assassinated. That's trying to freeze the target, trying to fix the target. I decline to play your game. I decline to play your fucking bullshit, okay? Donald Trump has called for violence over and over again. Donald Trump's team are practitioners of violence. 1-6. The Lafayette Square Park protests, where peaceful protesters, where Trump was saying to the military, you need to shoot them, until he went and hid in his bunker like a little bitch. Donald Trump, at his own rallies, when fights broke out, when attacks on the media happened, just recently at one of his rallies, a guy jumps over the corral around the media area, and Trump's like, don't worry, he's one of ours, he's good. While the guy was attacking the media. I don't want to hear this bullshit out of you people, okay? It's unreal that you think it's going to work. And everybody, Donald Trump's going to get more crazy. And he's going to get more sick. And he's going to get more off the rails. But remember, he's an authoritarian. He is a convicted criminal. He is an enabler of the worst elements of our politics. And it always has been. I'll go back from the time well before he was running for office. The Central Park 5 cases you heard during the debate about 5 young African-American men who were falsely accused of rape and assault in Central Park. Donald Trump put signs out and put ads in the New York Times saying they must have the death penalty. Even today, he thinks that's the case, even though they've been exonerated by a court, by the witness, and by DNA. Donald Trump is a poison in our democracy. He's a poison in our nation. He's a cancer slowly bleeding the life out of this country. And if saying that you think is a death threat, you're mistaken. It's a description. It's a truth. It's a ground truth. It's something that's real and actual and tangible. And every single day that he continues to campaign, you see more of it. They're practitioners of violence. They are inducers of violence. What do you think is happening right now with these Haitian families who are being attacked in Springfield, who are being bomb threats are being called into their homes and their schools? Swattings are happening now of Haitians in Springfield. This is because they want the violence. They want to say these are illegals. They're not. They want to say these people are a danger to America. They're not. They want to say that anything is justified to make sure that our blood and soil are pure. If you haven't heard the blood and soil line out of Trump and J.D. Vance now, just stay tuned because you'll hear it more. And it was better in the original German, as they say. But the idea here that offends MAGA so much is that truth is spoken about Trump. But y'all, if the jackboot fits, you get to wear it. He is an authoritarian. He is a statist. He is a racist. He is an aspiring fascist. He's hateful. He's mendacious. He's corrupt. He's a traitor. He's a fool. He's mentally ill. He's an adulterer. He's a scumbag. And he's frankly evil. And I use that word advisedly. But everything about Donald Trump that is manifested in his words, his deeds, his ambitions, his behavior is fucking evil. Say it. Own it. The fact that we try to look away from evil in the world is what leads to authoritarian nightmares. The fact that we pretend that evil can be negotiated with or dealt with or pushed aside or mollified or given some sort of prize and it'll go away has always been wrong. It has always been wrong. He is telling you what he is and what he will do. He is telling you his desires. And if you don't speak out about it, if you don't fight it, if you don't punch him back in the nose when he says that America is a shithole, that Democrats are communists and Marxists who want to destroy America, if you don't punch back when he lies, if you don't punch back when he goes on stage and tells the most outrageous, obscene lies, if you don't punch him back in the face when he calls Vice President Harris a whore, then you're just giving in. Then you're just rolling over. And if you roll over to authoritarianism, you don't get another shot. You don't get a second chance. You don't get a redo. You don't get to Control Alt Delete and reset the computer. There are no saved games. There are no extra lives. You have to fight authoritarianism, and you have to fight fascism, and you have to fight the kind of dark leader that Trump is and will be again if he's elected. You have to fight it every day. Yeah, all this outrage is contrived. It's histrionic. It's bullshit. You know it, and I know it. They're going to keep trying to do it. They're going to flood the zone on social media. There will be endless numbers of fake threats now made against Trump. The Secret Service will be put in the barrel. And by the way, a former Secret Service agent reached out to me and said the number one reason that Trump, is a target for these people is crazy people have ideation about famous people. He's the most famous guy around. It's not because of politics. It's not because of something we said on television. It's not because of something I tweeted. It's not because of an ad. It is because Donald Trump is famous and crazy people are drawn to it. The kid in Pennsylvania was Googling Joe Biden's schedule too. It was the nearest, earliest, easiest target. The guy in Florida, crazy person. They're not driven by the long discussions about who Trump is. They're not driven by the long discussions of the record Trump has shown us. They're driven by madness. They're driven by undiagnosed mental conditions. And that's a bigger problem than I can solve. But I will tell you once again, and this is the message that I want the MAGAs who hate listen and hate watch this to get very clearly. At the Lincoln Project, we will not shut up. We will not stop attacking you. We will not stop hitting you every day. We will not stop going out there and winning voters away from you every day. We will not ever stop. And for myself, I've been doing this since 2015, every day. I've taken 2 vacations in the last 10 years and only a couple days each on those because I've been in this fight for a very long time. You demand our silence and I refuse. You can do everything you want. You can treat all of Trump's lies as the truth. You can pretend that Trump is something he's not, but we don't have to, and we won't. We don't have to pretend he's something he's not, and we won't. And you can threaten us and dox us and swat us and call us communists and pedophiles and criminals and murderers and every other damn thing under the sun. You have no ability to stop people who have more strength than you from saying the truth, from speaking out about Trump, from campaigning against him every single day until this election is over, until he is politically destroyed, until Kamala Harris puts her hand on that Bible and gets in that limo and goes to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and sits down behind the Resolute desk. You want our silence? I decline. I refuse. Never.
Good night and good luck.